Alright, so reality again. Been up since 4 a.m. today. Again, wearing the same shirt I had on yesterday, like I was in yesterday's video. I'm on this weird split shift with showering and changing clothes, I think. Right now, just working when I can get things done. We are moving Noah over to Lexington today, back to University of Kentucky, so he can get started back to school. So I'm going to be gone most of the day, and realized I needed to get some things done. And then in 45 minutes, I laid in bed trying to decide to get up or not. I resolved a couple issues in my head that were keeping me up last night when I tried to go to sleep. But I think I got these things worked out. I'm going to get to work on some of the websites, some of the just more, every day right now is just miscellaneous things coming at me and tackling them as I cross them. And just like I said yesterday, there's no rhyme or reason sometimes to my planning and how I approach projects and to get things done. I do everything I can when I can do it and what makes sense and what is in front of me sometimes because I have ADHD, but it'll all get done. And looking forward to the trip down to Florida here in a couple of weeks, because it's a 17-hour drive. It'll probably be 19 or 20 hours pulling a trailer and stopping to see someone on the way down. Possible kind of partnership working on, but those are that's a long day, and but there's a piece of that I'm looking forward to because it's time alone in the car to think, and that's a lot of times when I get my best work done. So we'll get to work and update you here in a little bit. So one of the things I'll show you today is one of the diagrams that I drew months ago in planning out some of these things and what I'm looking at. And there are different pieces to run an organization, and you can view it differently depending on your role in the organization. So if you're more sales focused, you're going to look at it one way. If you're more operational focused, you're going to look at another. If you're administrative, you're going to look at another, and the pieces that are most important to you. However, when it comes to a business, it comes down to really your assets, your inventory, your cash in the bank, the things that you have, the things that you own, the things that you owe on, and those are the foundations. So I tend to look at things from the foundation up, because you can't build a house without a foundation. You could, but it doesn't last very long, and that's what happens to a lot of companies. So when we look at our foundation, and at the core of our foundation, we will have inventory control. And so all of your products that you sell, those, whether they're real products or intangible products such as digital goods or something like that, are an asset and they're an inventory, then you could track them. Now, you don't necessarily track the inventory of digital goods, but you do track how much you sell and the quantity. So yeah, you do kind of track the inventory, you just don't have a physical item to count. Now, along with inventory can be workflow. So in a larger organization, this is going to be super important, because you have to get everything from point A to point B, A to Z, 1 to 10, however you want to describe that, from the point where you receive the items to the times you ship them out. And sometimes this is a matter of unpacking cases of items. Sometimes it's a matter of cutting, and in my previous life was cutting, we cut the vinyl and converted it down to sheets and small rolls so that it was affordable. And so there were a lot of processes that went around that workflow piece when it came to operating the company. Now, a lot of people would argue the most important thing would be your website. And from a sales perspective, that is absolutely true in this type of environment, where we're talking about an online business. And so the website presentation, stability, speed, performance, all of those things are very important, but it is a piece of the puzzle, not the main thing. Okay, so along with those pieces, we have to have a general accounting function. And your general accounting function is going to take care of all of your accounts receivables, accounts payables, inventory control, payroll, all of those things that want to make your company function and produce a balance sheet, possibly for a banker or something, for a loan. Who knows what you're going to do that, but you're definitely going to produce that for taxes when you're running a business. So balance sheets, P&Ls, or profit and loss statements, and general ledgers, all of those pieces come together and make up your accounting system. So accounts receivable would be if I sold you something and I sent you an invoice for $100, I have $100 in my accounts receivable. Of course, accounts payable, a vendor sends me a bill for $100 for something I purchased, and I have a payable to pay them with. And when I do that, I should have something that goes into my inventory, and then when I have something that goes into my inventory, then I can sell it on my website, and that will tie back to my inventory control piece. Now, in a large organization, of course, we're going to have HR functions, and then when it comes down to selling the items and accounting for it and having people to do it, and it comes out of your inventory and workflow control, the next piece that you need to have is an order management system and a shipping system. Now, these systems oftentimes these can cross and be one and the same. So your website can be some of your inventory control. We're going to have accounting systems involved in your inventory control because you're going to have purchase orders and so forth. And sometimes these are separate pieces. And the long-term range will be that this will be built in separate pieces for this organization a little bit differently than the last time out, the approach that was taken. And this is a little bit harder road up front to plow, but it positions things later on for the company, for growth, and to be able to handle what it's going to do. And as part of this orders and shipping, you have to have customer relationship management, or your CRM piece. Now, how does this all tie together? One last piece I'm going to point out here is going to be reporting. And reporting comes in all different places, and reporting is going to drive a lot of your organization if you do it right. And so if you set up proper processes, have the proper people in place and the proper positions doing the right things, then your reporting helps control your workflow at this core of your organization. And so how do these pieces come together? Well, your accounting has to talk to your website, your HR has to talk to your accounting, your reports have to talk to your inventory, your CRM has to talk to your orders and shipping, your website has to talk to your CRM, your reports need to talk to your website, your reports need to talk to accounting, and last but not least, your reports need to talk to your orders. So when you have all of these pieces, this can be done really within a couple of pieces of software, 2 or 3 pieces of software sometimes, but in an enterprise environment, it's all done separately, separate applications. A lot of times, most of the time, they're not even from the same vendor, and they have to talk to each other and exchange data and information on a very large scale. I've been exposed to both very small and very large scale organizations, billion-dollar companies that do this and how they do it. And we're going to start small. I have identified a suite of apps that will allow me to do most of this encompassed into integrated applications. It's really nice. I'm going to pay a little bit more for it out of the gate, but it's going to position me well for growth down the road when it comes to being able to make all these pieces work. And there's so much more to this than what is on this diagram. This is a conceptual diagram. There's a lot of little pieces that go into this and a lot of different things that can be done. So I wanted to just share that with you, give you some of my insight on how to properly set up an organization like this to manage and run a company that is going to be online sales, fulfillment, customer service. It's eventually going to need all of these pieces. And right now we're going to use little tiny bits of it, but hopefully, within a year or two, we'll be growing into needing all of this, because they provide recruiting software, everything. And so we're very pleased to have located the apps that I'm using for this. But like I said, it's a little bit more expensive out of the gate than most people would want to spend. It's a little more complicated. I have a different skill set, but I wanted to share that with you.